everybody. We'd like to welcome you back to another episode of the Mike and Bradley Sports Scene here on Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative TV and WATAM 1110, Pikeville, Tennessee. Of course, it is mid-July, and we're just about 37 days away from football time in Bledsoe County, the 100th anniversary of Bledsoe County football. And we're going to discuss some things. We're also going to discuss some coaching changes. Bradley was not with us the last time, as I said, because his wife had surgery on the day of the show. Bradley, give us an update on your wife.
Doing well, healing up good, everything looking good. So she's getting mean again. So I think that means she's getting towards being all right. So
yeah, well, I guess so. You know, I can always come visit her.
Well,
get her really mean.
If you want to bring out the worst dinner, then I'll bring you. If I want to see that.
I'll bring her some Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah. She found some of those on top of the refrigerator that she was cleaning out.
Yeah.
And like to the tune of 6 boxes.
Yeah.
That she had hid so that I wouldn't get them.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that was kind of a funny story. But
anyway, I'm glad that
she's doing good.
She's doing well.
Thank you for asking for her.
Now we're going to talk a little about some changes in the coaching ranks at Bledsoe County High School. First off is Beverly Tarter. She returns to the coaching ranks in basketball. She's going to be the new girls head basketball coach at Bledsoe County High School, and she's had a lot of experience at it. She's she coached the middle school team to several tournament appearances. Almost won the state championship one year, and then she, of course, won various things such as the East Tennessee State Tournament champions, the West Tennessee State Tournament runner-up, district champions, Bledsoe County 2-time district champions, and 3rd-time district runner-up in basketball, among other things. So obviously she has a lot of experience, and hopefully she can get this team up and going this year. The second one is, of course, is new to coaching, new to head coaching. That's Sierra Rogers, and Sierra Rogers actually was an assistant for the Bledsoe County softball team. She brings a lot of experience in. She played at Carson Newman University, and obviously very young but very experienced, and she's looking forward to the challenge of coaching here. And she's currently a pre-K teacher at Cecil B. Rigsby Elementary. So welcome to her here. Lucas Travis is now the Lady Warriors head soccer coach, and obviously Lucas Travis doing quite well. Of course, he is the CTE marketing teacher at BCHS. I don't know what that means because I never had CTE marketing, whatever it is.
Well, it's the building that we built to replace the vocational school. The marketing, the carpentry, mechanic, welding, all those classes that we used to do at the vocational school that we do there. Career training, some education, I'm not sure what that CTE stands for, but in essence that's what it is. It replaced those vocational trade school type jobs that they were training for when we used to go all the way down toward the county line and meet Dunlap. Then Dunlap built their own. Now we built our own. So
well, when I went there first year in 1976, it was like a fight a day between Bledsoe County and Milwaukee County, and it didn't get along. It took a few years for people to cool off and get along together, so to speak. And ironically, that's just not far from where old Lusk School used to be. So
just right across the field.
Right across the field. So I always say this. And of course, Travis, of course, is an assistant coach for the baseball team as well. So congratulations to him for the part. Next up is Emily Tabor, and of course, that name is very familiar to everybody here. She is the daughter of the current high school football coach, Dwayne Tabor. She played for Bledsoe County on baseball, on softball, and basketball, and she went to Tennessee Wesleyan and got her degree there, and she is currently teaching at Bledsoe County High School. So congratulations to these coaching changes here as well. Now let's get to the football, which is 37 days away. As for the Jamboree, we have no word whether they're going to have one this year or not. So I would probably it's going to be more of a not.
From what I have understood, going back to last year, Sequatchie County typically was going to be the one to host because they were in the middle of everything. new school, new facility, new turf field, and everything. All the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
Put a long story short, didn't want to fool with it. Because
I don't think they didn't have enough teams.
Didn't have enough teams and didn't really branch out to get any more coming in. And you don't realize that Jamboree is a ton of work.
It is.
Getting people to come and play, having to prepare for those people to come in. If you make it a big thing, I wish I would really appreciate it if Bledsoe or somebody would make it a weekend event like they do over in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
Have games on Friday night, have vendors come set up, make it like a big, festival. That'd be nice. Why don't you take that over, Mike? Get the bull with the horns.
Now I can do that. We can sell Mike and Bradley T-shirts and say this is.
There is so much behind that, and Sequatchie just didn't really feel up to doing it last year, and I don't know that anybody is feeling up to doing it this year. I've not heard if they have decided to do that, and it would be very, very good. I'm a sucker for tradition, to be honest with you. I love the Jamboree, even though it's an upscale scrimmage. It's really not really something that is important. It's just the tradition of the matter that I like, and then the fact that it gives us a taste of football, gets to see a glimpse of the different teams. And of course, nobody shows anything in the Jamboree, but like I said, it's just an upscale scrimmage. Yeah. It's just the atmosphere, I guess, that I miss.
I think what the thing is that with Marion, South Pittsburgh, and Whitwell going over to Chattanooga, I think basically it really sort of knocked it down. Of course, you had for a few of you had Howard, then you had Ray County, you had Warren County come in for a few years, but apparently they decided they didn't want to do that anymore. What you have to do is get like Cumberland County and Stone Memorial to come down and play. That would be a very
if we did that, if Bledsoe County were to take over Jamboree and have it there, have it here, we would be more apt to pull Cumberland, Stone, Ray County, maybe even a White County or something, or Monterey or somebody like that to come down to play. That I don't know that Crossville would go all the way to Dunlap, but you never know. I mean, and it's just having to get the teams and working out the schedules and all of that. I think it would be neat to have it, but again, getting people on board to do it is the hard part.
Well, of course. Then again, it probably allows you to basically, have that extra week to prepare for that sort of thing. The Jamboree was all about that. It was basically really originally established for insurance purposes, to raise money for insurance for the players, which you had to have. So, but like again, as I said, hopefully maybe in a week or two, I might hear something, but you never know. But anyway, of course, Bledsoe County opens up the season the next week. And that will be against Sequatchie County. And that starts the 100-year anniversary of Bledsoe County fall. So let me read some things that you might know about
August
what happened.
August 21st.
In 1926, Calvin Coolidge was president. His campaign slogan was "Keep cool with Coolidge." He was president. There was a young Army captain in the city of Knoxville, Tennessee, that was putting his Tennessee Volunteers together. His name was Robert R. Nealon. And today, that was the first year he was there as a head coach. He came in to teach ROTC, was an assistant for a year, then he became head coach, and of course, Tennessee's on the rocky road to glory. Nealon Stadium had 3,200 seats. It was known as Shields Watkins Field. It wasn't named Nealon until after he had passed in 1962. Okay.
At two sides.
Bledsoe County was just one side.
One side.
Just one side. 3,200 seats. They put seats on the different sides now. Bledsoe had just completed its new high school, which is today the old high school. It replaced the old white building, which had burned a few years back, and that was where they played their football for the first 26 years, right next to the building. If you see pictures of it in the 1940s.
Where the playground and the walking track is.
Yeah, where the playground and walking track is, there was no seating.
Right behind the headstone.
Right behind the headstone. And, and they said, my dad said, and he played on that field in 1947. it was like you see, playing on concrete was softer because there was no grass.
Yeah.
No grass. No grass, and he was like, he played one time with boiled blisters on his arm, and it was like every time you touch it, it was like being stabbed and that sort of thing. But Bledsoe did not get Greason Field until '52, and did not get the current field which they play, which is John Boyden Stadium. So that's some of those things. The population of Pikeville was 867 in 1926, and probably there was nothing to do in that town
except play football. Fish and
play a little basketball. They
walk around town.
And baseball. Baseball was a big thing.
Yeah.
Baseball was a bigger thing than football in those days.
Yeah, that's what I started to say. It's probably bigger than football then.
And now we'll get to baseball in a little bit because I know you're just raring to go.
I'm trying to keep my excitement down.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, that's what happened in 1926. That's what you had in 1926 for football. And what do we know about the guy who was the first head coach, E.H. Beck? He was a dentist. Which was a very important position in Bledsoe County because dentists are hard to find. That sort of thing. You live with a toothache, or you just have somebody find something to yank it.
Yep. Or you, Tom Hanks said on Castaway.
Yeah. Well. Whew. Now I did that when I was 6 years old when my aunt decided that because I was tooth was bothering me, she sort of tied the tooth on and went in a rope and on a door. I was not a very happy camper afterwards, trust me.
Well, it only hurt for a little while, didn't it?
It only hurt for a little while, 2-3 days. Hey, this is the guy who at the Christmas party who had to pass on the food.
Oh,
and that sort of thing.
Well,
Yeah, so I was not a happy camper.
I'd say not.
No, probably not. But anyway, that's the difference now. You got 100 years later. You go from a team that had no uniforms, had no tradition, had no nickname, had no stadium to play in, to now you got a 2,500 seat stadium.
Mm-hmm.
You got uniforms, you got tradition, you got the nickname, and you got a winning tradition, which seems to be the great thing here. So let's talk a little about the football season. Sequatchie County is first. What do you see is going to happen in that game? Because these are two good teams.
Sequatchie County and Bledsoe County are in a really good position right now to both compete for their region win, number one in the region.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know people are saying, well, you've got Marion County and you've got York and you've got Monterey and you've got Grundy in your region. And I get it. Okay, I get it. Marion, state champions, runner up. I get it. But the thing that is helping Bledsoe County is, number one, the winning tradition.
Mm-hmm.
They have been consistently winning over the last several seasons, and it's caused people who are living in the county to actually play in the county instead of going somewhere else to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
We had a couple guys that transferred to Bledsoe County.
Yeah.
One from Cumberland County who was a quarterback. He's got some pretty good legs. He's going to run the ball quite a bit for him.
Uh-huh.
And we found a guy that lived in the Hendon community. He comes from Central Purple Pounders, and he should, from what I've been hearing, help fill the void that was left by Stonewall Farmer and Austin Raines at the linebacker position. That kid apparently is an exceptional athlete and is really turning some heads and gaining a lot of momentum. Bledsoe County's line, from what I understand, is going to be okay. It's beefed up over the off season. We have a little bit of size coming into this year, and again, we did lose some skill players. Austin Raines is gone.
Dallas
Bridges is gone. Stonewall Farmer is gone. But we still have Melton. We still have name just left me.
Quarterback was that?
Luke Morris is still here.
Yeah, exactly.
We did lose Austin Kane. to graduation. But again, we still have the skill players and the running backs that did well last year because we were running 5 and 6 running backs.
Yeah.
We lost 2 of them. We still got those 3.
Yeah.
And the line again has amped itself up. Is big. It's getting stronger, building its momentum up too. So I think that Bledsoe County is going to have a really good year, and I also believe that Sequatchie County will as well.
Yeah.
The thing that is going to hinge on this game.
Yeah.
I always say home field advantage helps tremendously.
Yeah.
And Bledsoe does host Sequatchie County. Now, it's going to be a slobber knocker.
Well, it should be a fight.
These 2 teams are coming in to really prove a point because last year, it was a good game. A lot of kind of, I'm not going to revisit last year, but last year was last year.
Yeah.
But these 2 teams come in with the most to prove right now. Sequatchie and Bledsoe have the most to prove in the Valley, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Over Marion, over Grundy, over Whitwell, over South Pittsburgh. Sequatchie and Bledsoe have the most to prove because of their consistent success. Can either one of those teams get over the hump and win the region? That's the thing that both teams are going to try to do. And winning your rivalry game at the very beginning of the year is a huge momentum boost to help get you over that hump. I think Bledsoe County has the edge because they're a home team, but Sequatchie County is going to come up here and they're going to really lay the wood to us, and Bledsoe better be ready. And Sequatchie better be ready because it's, like I said, it's going to be a slobber knocker, and it's really going to determine. I hate to say the season hinges on one game.
Yeah.
But that's the reality of this game coming up. I mean, can you get that big win? Can you fill those voids of players who you lost to graduation? Can you get everything back in line where it's supposed to go and get the wheels running? Can you hit the ground running instead of having to get yourself motivated? That's the thing. And I think Bledsoe County is going to do that. I really do, and I'm not just partial, but it's a good way to start the season off, because if you were to win over Sequatchie, you are set up, poised, and your confidence is sky high going into Whitwell, Oneida, Tellico, and even going all the way to York. It's going to be an interesting season, and I think Bledsoe County has got a good shot this year to compete for the region. I really do.
Absolutely. Of course, ever since Marion County and South Pittsburgh quit playing each other, this has become the premier rivalry in the Valley, and one of the premier rivalries in the Chattanooga area. Okay, Whitwell. We're going to be at Whitwell next game, and the Tigers, of course, has actually had some good football muscle the past few years. They actually won a state title back in 2016, basically on a floater. If you've ever seen that game on TV, that was where you probably should have got the other guy should have just tried to pass instead of a field goal attempt, and now I swear that ball just went backwards.
Yeah, Whitwell had a really good team that year, loaded with seniors, loaded with talent, won the state title, and then had a couple years where they just weren't. They were back to old Whitwell. They lost a lot of games, but now they're starting to build back up to that tradition that, hey, we're not that far out of a state championship title. We've still got some stuff to do here. Coaching has helped, made a few coaching changes, got some good players back out there, training them up, letting them learn and get better. Whitwell is a contender. They're not a pushover like they were in times past. They are not to be taken lightly. So the bad thing about Whitwell, and it's a disadvantage for them, is the fact that they are in the same county with Marion County and South Pittsburgh. Now, I know they draw lines, but those lines are drawn in the sand as to where players are going to play. We've known that for years. Most of the people in Marion County typically play for Marion or South Pittsburgh. Whitwell has kind of always been the red-headed stepchild, so to speak, because it's kind of, thrown, they get what's left. And that's changing. That's changing because people are starting to realize that they can do good things and they're at the school that's in their district.
And they're putting some serious money into that program.
And they are. And that's making a big difference. And we got our first call-in.
Caller. And, I think our operators are taking money there.
Whitwell is I think Whitwell will do well this year, and I think Bledsoe County, if they can play well against Sequatchie, even come out with a victory, and then go to Whitwell and win, that's going to be huge for Bledsoe County.
Oneida, not out here at Pikeville. Bledsoe's won 3 straight over the Indians after losing 4 straight. So Oneida really, times past has been a good team. They weren't so in the past couple of years.
We could just say Oneida is South Kentucky because you can just about throw a rock from Oneida into Kentucky. That's how far up there they are. And if you've never made that drive, then you're very fortunate. But if you have made that drive, then you drive forever to get there. But Oneida is one of those schools, kind of like Bledsoe County. They're out in rural area, Tennessee. They basically live the same way we do, is for those Friday nights.
Scott County is not notoriously known as a football paradise.
It's not, but those people, you have to admire the fan base though, because in a small town like that, what do you look forward to? What do you look forward to? Basketball, softball, baseball, any kind of sporting event that your high school team plays. That's typically going to be your marquee thing to do on any given night. It's when they're playing. So you have a fan base that really is devoted to their team. The Oneida Indians, they're orange and white. They got that going for them. They're Tennessee colors. That's hit and miss. With Oneida, you can go up there and you can get your rear end handed to you sometimes, or you can go up there and you can put your foot down and win. We have played well against Oneida the last couple times we played, and probably went in the second time as an underdog and won. Oneida is again one of those sleeper teams that you don't ever know what you're going to get until you get there. And they come to our place this time, September 4th. That's going to be interesting to see because it's travel for them because the last 2 years they had to drive there.
That's what I would say right now. That's going to be an interesting game. Okay, well, next, of course, I believe it's Tellico Plains. I think it's the Bears.
That's a game that outside of Sequatchie and Marion and Grundy, and even York, that game is probably the one I'm most excited about. And the reason for that is Tellico Plains is on. If there's a team in Tennessee that is on the verge of tipping the scale toward consistently good, it's Tellico Plains.
I
never thought I would say that.
They actually made a run deep into the playoffs last year.
I never thought I would say that. But Tellico Plains, when we went over there last year, one or two pieces added to that puzzle, and Tellico Plains is a state championship contender. I know you may think I'm crazy, but if they had
know you're crazy.
One or two more pieces to that puzzle, and they would have been an outstanding football team. They were good last year.
Yeah, well, the problem is they shot themselves in the foot in the second half.
They did. They came out in the first half. Bledsoe struggled. Couldn't move the ball. Tellico was doing well. And then the second half, the penalties killed them. I mean, they would get a good gain and then get it called back, and you can't say it's home cooking because we're playing at Tellico. They were just making some horrible mistakes, letting their mouths shoot off. Got a few personal foul penalties. Things just didn't work out for them second half, but Bledsoe County kind of controlled that. But if they can work on that, if they can work on the discipline, if they can work on their conditioning and their strength, And if they can get those athletes to step up and actually really play to their caliber, Tellico Plains is going to be an interesting team to watch this year. And again, of all the teams on Bledsoe County's schedule, there's always that, what I call sleeper team, that you really better be ready for. Yeah. That's one. That's one of them. Tellico Plains is going to come in here with a score to settle, and I think they're going to really try to get some revenge, so to speak. Bledsoe better be ready. I think they need to be more prepared for Tellico, more so than, and don't overlook Whitwell, don't overlook Oneida, and definitely don't overlook Sequatchie. But you better be ready for Game 4, because Tellico Plains is going to come over here with the intention of winning that ball game.
York Institute, the last year, the year before, they went. Okay, I almost made it to the state championship. Then next year, they only won one game, and then that program was falling apart. And only by winning over Monterey were they able to make the playoffs.
Yeah, the wheels fell off the wagon last year, and a lot of that has to do with coaching. A lot of that has to do with the parents, boosters, coaching, all that just didn't mesh last year.
But still, York gave Bledsoe County a game, came close to pulling off a major upset.
Yeah. York is one of those teams that you can never overlook. And again, I go back to the Oneida thing, is you never really know what kind of team you're going to get when you play them. I mean, thankfully, you play York, the fifth game of the season, so you're halfway through the year, so you kind of have an idea of what you're going to go up against. Can York bounce back from the one-win season last year? That's the question. In the regular season. That's the question. Can those players, because by the time that the season got into the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th game, players are quitting. Yeah. Players are quitting. Kids were getting kicked off the team because of things they were doing and saying. The coaching, players, just nothing was meshing. The wheels literally fell off the wagon last year. Can they rebound from that? I think they can. That will be Bledsoe's first region game. We have to travel to York and hope and pray to God we don't have to play on Thursday night and go back on a Friday like we did 2 years ago.
Yeah, this time is the time they'll get the referee's phone numbers.
Still sore about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, York will be a formidable opponent. Don't get me wrong, and they're playing in Jamestown. That's always a tough row to hoe because they play better at home, and I won't say York's a sleeper team, but they're the team with the most to prove this year because of. Well, I wouldn't say the most to prove because I still think that's Bledsoe Sequatchie, but the team with the most to improve on this year, rebound team, has to go to York. Can they rebound from that last horrible season last year?
Polk County will be at Benton, and they're going to have a new coach. Derek Davis has finally decided to retire for the second time, I might add. And obviously, Polk County, one of those teams that can have the capability of probably getting back into what it used to be like for them.
Polk County has ridden the roller coaster for the last several years. Mm-hmm. When I was in school, they were down. They had talent, wasn't coached correctly, had size and speed, but just didn't have the gas, and they were down. Then they went up, and they were contending for region titles. And then they were down again. And then Davis comes back and they're up again. And they've been kind of consistently mediocre, not bad, not great, but consistently middle-of-the-road team for the past several years. But they've had talent. They've had the ability to kind of flip that switch and get better on the cusp of greatness, I'll say. Polk County, with a new look coach, same traditions, nice fan base. They have what they need to make a run this year at a region title over in that region with Tellico and others.
No deer stand.
No deer stand. I think I wouldn't classify Polk County as a sleeper team this year, because with a new coach, it is going to have to take a little time to rebuild, get those guys on the same page. I'm not saying they will be competitive, but we kind of know what we're getting when we get to Polk County this year.
Yeah.
And by that time, the 6th game of the season, we'll kind of know.
Yeah, we'll know.
We'll be able to fill them out and know. They'll be able to fill us out and know. So having to travel to Polk County is always a challenge because, again, the atmosphere there. Polk County is one of those teams that's it's hit or miss every year.
Yeah.
But again, I think they'll be primed to contend this year if they can gel together under that new coach and new staff.
Marion County. This will probably be for the district title, the region title. Excuse me.
I think you're right. October 2nd, Marion has to travel
To Pikeville.
James T. Warden Field, John A. Boynton Stadium. It's one of those games, Mike.
It was a close game last year.
It's one of those games where I just don't know what to say about it because Marion County has a lot of talent.
Mm-hmm.
Bledsoe County has a lot of talent. The powerhouses to meet on October the 2nd in Pikeville, that will likely just determine the region championship. Now, the thing that Marion County returns quite a bit of offense.
Mm-hmm.
Can their defense play up to par like it did last year? That's the question.
That's the question.
And then the same thing with Bledsoe County. Can Bledsoe County's defense play up to par? And can their offense start to produce like it did several years ago? We've had a consistent, run of Bledsoe County, but the offense has been more conservative the last couple of years. And that's not a bad thing.
No.
We're still winning ball games.
Yeah.
We're still competing. We're still up there with everybody. But the flash, the blowing people out of the water, that we did a few years ago, It's not been like that.
No.
We've had to have a more conservative approach, and again, that's fine. But in order for Bledsoe County to really turn the tide against Marion County, they've got to get that pop back in the offense. They've got to get that pop. We've got to stop wasting, opportunities when we have the ball. We can't do a 3 and out. We got to move the ball.
Yeah.
Our offense has got to step up against Marion County. That is going to be one of the biggest games, if not the biggest game of the year for us, outside of our rival Sequatchie in the first game of the year. If we can compete with Marion County and even beat Marion County, that should give us a very good shot of winning the region title. But it's going to come down to that game, I believe. I don't think York is going to be able to compete at the level because of the things going on, and the coach hadn't changed. Things haven't changed in York.
Yeah.
So there's still going to be some bad blood there to work out, and until they can get that fixed in the team, I don't see them being competitive in the region. Marion County is reloading. Go to the next game after Marion County. Grundy.
Okay, well, Marion County, if you know, Marion County is the oldest rival in Bledsoe County.
That's right.
That first year they played each other, it was 49-6 Marion County. It took a long while for Bledsoe County to get a win over Marion County. So that's this. The 3 oldest rivalries that Bledsoe County is in 100 year history: Sequatchie County, 1928, Grundy County, 1940. So as you said, Grundy County's next. They started out 7-0. They looked off, but they had a weak schedule to play with, so they got us.
Well, here's the thing, and I look back at last year, and again, you can't really judge by that, and I get it, and I don't like to say, well, last year we did. Okay, well, Grundy County, yes, they were 7-0 coming into the game against us when we played out there.
Yeah.
Yes, they had a weak schedule, but they were beating those people like they were supposed to.
Yeah.
When we got out there, so many good things happened in our favor. obviously the long pass to Dallas Bridges,
98 yards,
which really turned the tide of the momentum of the game.
That was the thing that probably broke Maryland's back.
That just really
Grundy's back.
I mean, that took the wind out of the Yellow Jackets' wings. I mean, so to speak. And after that, things just imploded.
They lost the final 3 games.
They lost the final 3 games. You know, and that was one of the craziest endings to a game that I've ever seen. And that they were, you know, basically 2 personal foul penalties, a pass interference call, 2 personal foul penalties.
Mm-hmm.
The Grundy County coaches were going absolutely nuts. The referees finally, I mean, Bledsoe was down and could have scored again.
Yeah.
But the Grundy County coaches, the way they were doing, they run their own clock out on defense.
I believe they ejected the head coach of Grundy County.
They ejected the head coach. They called personal foul on the assistants. I mean, they really the last 90 seconds of that ball game was basically their last 3 games in a nutshell.
They actually had to have a police escort for the referees after that game because that was because I swear I thought there was going to be a riot.
The whole thing just imploded in the last 90 seconds.
Yeah.
And Grundy, man, they had a team that could have contended, but they just lacked the discipline. And they played Bledsoe County, and you know, Bledsoe County was a good team last year. A formidable opponent. I won't say Bledsoe County was as good last year as they had been in years prior, but they were still a very good contender last year. And when they finally met some contention, you see what happened. It was still a tough game for us. I don't see Grundy County being that competitive this year.
I just don't.
I don't. They graduated a lot of players, and I may be surprised.
They may have 3 losses coming in.
But I don't see Grundy County having a 7-0 record or 8-0 record coming into October 16th to Pikeville. I don't see that happening.
Okay, we're going to go to Huntland at Huntland, and that is the only 3rd time they played. Last year, Bledsoe lost 20-13 to the 1954 Little Bowl for the state title. Now Bledsoe County played for the state title, lost to Huntland, who, by the way, was coached by the Shirley Majors, and if that sounds familiar to you, he's the father of Johnny, Bill, Joe, and Bobby Majors, and obviously the first family of the Majors family. They're here. Of course, now we have to go to Huntland. And that is west of Winchester, and on Shirley Majors Field, and Bledsoe had a pretty easy time with them last year at Pikeville. It was not much of a contest.
Well, it wasn't much of a contest, and if I remember correctly, that was a team that began to fight against themselves a little bit. They were a little. There were some disciplinary things within the team that was causing some major issues. They were kind of imploding from the kickoff. Never really were able to play together as a team. They were frustrated with one another. They had a mediocre season. They were. By the time we played them, they were frustrated. They were angry. They were upset with one another. Started playing the lane game, and it was just not a good time.
Like Wartburg was a couple of years ago. They had to drag the players off the field at halftime because they were going to kill each other.
Not a very friendly locker room.
They had to call the cops to stop that.
Yeah, but again.
Holland's probably going to be a win. It'll be a little tougher to play this year, but they're going to play on their home field. But they can win that one easy. Of course, we're going to end it up with Monterey at Monterey, and obviously Monterey came down here last year and really didn't show a lot, as far as I could tell.
They didn't show a lot, but every time we played at Monterey, there's always been something that happened.
Yeah, we remember what happened a few years ago.
There was little bad blood there, and I'm not saying that Monterey has forgotten that, but Monterey hasn't forgotten that. I mean, there's bad blood. There's bad blood there, and it got rough there toward the end. Bledsoe did lose that ball game, and it got rough. Teams didn't shake hands. Coaches were yelling back and forth at one another. It was just a horrible moment, for both sides. And they don't want that to happen again.
No.
But still, even with that is still in the back of their minds. You can't just erase that.
Of course, we'll have the postseason if Bledsoe County makes it that far. My take on it is simply that now we know this much: they're going to do it just like they did last year. The Bledsoe went up to Upper East Tennessee, beat Happy Valley, an undefeated team, and they had never trailed in their 11 wins.
Mm-mm.
And they trailed and then then called a timeout.
Iced his own players.
And on the 2-point conversion try, the guy drops the ball. He tries sneaking along the line, and I mean, there is no way in the world that they were gonna penetrate that blue wall, and didn't. And
looking back at that, I'm so glad that Bledsoe County won the ball game. Don't get me wrong. I'm Bledsoe blue and blue through and through. That's just the way it is. But looking back, I kind of felt really bad for the Happy Valley Warriors because they had the momentum. They scored.
Yeah.
Now, had they lined up right then, went for 2, and punched it in, that I think that the game would have been different.
Yeah.
But their own coach called the timeout after waiting forever to get out there to set up. Mm-hmm. Iced his own players. Those players did not need to be reminded when they got in that huddle, hey, this is it. Yeah. Win, you keep going.
They did try the onside kick,
yeah,
but Stonewall Farmer fell on that, and that pretty much finished that up. And that was probably the biggest win Bledsoe had that year.
I would agree with that, and it came at the biggest coaching blunder of the year was Happy Valley's head coach calling it timeout and icing his own team. Could have been different. Could have been different, probably should have been different, but it wasn't, and Bledsoe County advanced.
Yeah, well, unfortunately next week we got nailed by Eagleton and on a turnover late in the game, and really, to be honest, right now we would have played Marion County in a rematch, and then probably gone to Chattanooga for a state championship game. But anyway, so Bledsoe County, I would say let's put it this way right now. I'm gonna pick Bledsoe to go 9-1. I think the loss I would probably pick would either be for either Sequatchie County, which would not be bad, though disappointing, is a non-region matchup, or Marion County. That would be out the only district loss. Bledsoe County lost once in the district. That was Marion County.
Well, now in 2 weeks, when we get into August, we'll have the picks. So don't get the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
Don't think
I know how your picks are, Bradley.
We will do the picks live for God and everybody to see, record them, and then I'll hold on to them.
Oh, yeah, I knew you was going to say that.
Because we know.
I knew you was going to say that. I told you, let's give it to some neutral site like Coach Tabor or T.A. Smith or something like that.
What?
So that we will know, so that you won't hear this. I was a bad picker and you was the superior picker.
What I'm going to do this year, just so you can't pull that card on me, I'm going to post it online. I'm going to post it online so nobody can say nobody cheated.
Did you go...
So that you can be publicly humiliated.
Are you working as a Donald Trump speechwriter or something?
Nope.
That's all there is to it.
I'm going to
That's all
post
I
it
can tell
online.
you.
I'm going to post it online. I'm going to put it on WAT's Facebook page. I'm going to make one. Warrior Radio Facebook page.
I think we need to give it to Billy Bridges. That way he.
And I'm going to post it so everybody can see it.
Right.
So they'll know. And I'm even going to go back the last several years. 'Cause I've got them. And I'm going to post all of them. And
I ain't never seen those envelopes yet that I have not seen yet.
I really don't want to humiliate you like that, but that's just what I'm going to have to do to get you to leave me alone about it.
You're a poor liar. You're a poor liar. You're a poor liar. Okay, everybody, when we come back, we're going to talk about college. And, of course, college football's again, about ready to begin in about a little over a month and a half, and of course, SEC teams and who would be the picks to win the national championship in college football, and the conference champions, and a number of other things concerning college football. As you're listening to the Mike and Bradley, watching the Mike and Bradley sports scene here on Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative and WAT AM 1110, Pikeville, Tennessee.
You need a bank that you can depend on. Here at Citizens Tri-County Bank, we have the most dependable staff that you will ever meet. Call in, you will not get an automated attendant, you'll get a person. But on the other side, we have all the technology that anyone would need, from apps to online banking to bill pay. So please come and grow with us as we're about to celebrate our 50th year. We are the only community bank you will ever need.
Come and see the beautiful Sequatchie Valley. And while you're here, visit the Dunlap Mercantile. We have a full line of hats from Resistol, Stetson, Charlie One Horse, American Hat Makers, GG Pip, Greeley hats from the TV show Yellowstone, and a full line of vintage hats. Make sure to check out our hat bar where we can clean, shape, and customize a hat just for you, right here at the Dunlap Mercantile.
At Jason Lewis Dunlap Supercenter, we're committed to be better. Better prices, better vehicles, a better experience. Your Jason Lewis Dunlap Supercenter understands that you rely on us to provide you with the highest quality of used vehicles. With over 350 pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. So what are you waiting for? Let us show you a better experience with the Jason Lewis Automotive family. Come visit us at Rankin Avenue here in Dunlap or on the web at dunlapsupercenter.com.
Okay, we're back, and of course we're going to have college football season. It's going to start in late August and week 0, and then of course the late August Labor Day weekend games. Of course, among other teams, Tennessee. I would try to find out who's going to be the new quarterback this season, and obviously they're going to hopefully start that against Furman. Faison. Supposedly, some people say that Faison will be the starter against Furman. But by the way, which Tennessee is playing for only the third time. Tennessee owns that series 2-0.
Well, McIntyre came in as a favorite because he's been there.
Yeah.
Faison Brandon, 6'4", 260 pounds.
Pretty tall.
He's bigger than 3 of our starting linebackers. So he has a cannon for an arm. He has good feet. He has a little bit of Hendon Hooker tendencies. It's not as hardly cerebral as Hendon Hooker was.
No.
But Faison Brandon is supposed to be the real deal. Even though McIntyre has had more experience as far as being with the Tennessee Vols, it is a very big possibility because of the way that things have played out in the spring and over the summer workouts. Faison Brandon has kind of made a name for himself in regards to stepping up and improving, learning, and doing those things. They would be crazy not to give him a lot of looks against a team like Furman.
They if you look at Furman, they probably will maybe say, "Hey, let's put Brandon in for a few series, see how he does. Then put McIntyre in. They may put Baker in, the Georgia transfer.
Yeah.
In some place. Remember, is that they in one game they actually they did put 4 quarterbacks in, but the game was pretty much decided anyway. So basically, they pretty much decided what they're going to do. I think is that let's see how they say this will be your tryout. Let's see how well you do. Remember is that it's not unusual for it to happen. I mean, Tennessee in 1971 went through 4 quarterbacks before they settled on the Blue Max, Jim Maxwell, because of injuries and that sort of thing. And so, really, is that because this could, as they said in the 1970s, it could be year of the quarterbacks, plural. And this was before Condredge Holloway played, because freshmen couldn't play at a time where Condredge Holloway probably would have had the starting job. But you have to look at it this way. There's going to be a lot of competition among the quarterbacking positions. There's going to be a lot of competition. Furman's probably going to be here. Then you got Georgia Tech at Atlanta. That's going to be a little tougher game to play. And then Kennesaw State. Then you got Texas coming in. Now, someone asked Peyton Manning. They've been asking Peyton Manning about this for months. About who are you going to support? Your university or your nephew, Arch Manning? He said, I love my university. I'm for my university. But family comes first. That means basically he's going to support Arch Manning. I don't blame him for that and that sort of thing. Of course, Peyton has a son, Marshall, who is at Baylor. He's going to be, they say he's got a pretty good cannon for an arm. And Tennessee pretty much won him, but you won't have him for a few years yet. He'll be 20 or 30 before he gets down there. So, Marshall may decide to go to Ole Miss or something, or whatever, or Vanderbilt or something like this. It just depends on what Marshall, as Archie Manning said, he took a lot of flack because his son chose Tennessee, but he said he let his son make that decision and he backed him, and that's the way it should be. And of course, Texas comes to Knoxville for the first time ever. First time they played since the '69 Cotton Bowl. You're going to look at that game, and you're going to see probably a lot of signs saying, "Bevo, it's what's for dinner." Bevo's not going to be allowed in that stadium. You're not going to allow something that big.
The real UT, the right color orange. And
burnt orange.
So many other things. Yeah, it's just going to be interesting. And the thing about that is, aside from Ohio State, Oregon, and Notre Dame, Texas could potentially be the team to beat this year.
It could be. They started out number one last year, but lost to Ohio State.
Yeah, Ohio State. I don't. Oregon is a good team. I don't think that they are as good as Ohio State and Texas. Notre Dame, I think, is better than Oregon. Ohio State's loaded. Texas is loaded, and those two teams are going to be the teams to beat. Can Indiana, winning last year, losing Mendoza to the draft?
Yeah.
Can Cignetti amp up them and make another run? Indiana's loaded too. They've got some pretty good quarterback. I got a quarterback transfer from TCU into their system to fill that void of losing that quarterback, so they're going to be ready to compete too. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. But Texas at Tennessee will be
that's going to be
a huge game for the Volunteers.
That's a noon kickoff, and I think that should have been prime time.
I think you're right.
That should have been prime time. AVC, of course. Texas. A couple of years ago, their fans were sort of obnoxious until they got the stuff knocked out of them a couple of times. As Archie Manning said, you're playing in the big leagues now. This is not the Little 12. This is the SEC, and that sort of thing. I think that Tennessee is going to be competitive in that game. They probably will lose. But I hate to say that, but it's a possibility. It depends upon where Tennessee settle on that quarterback situation. They have 4 weeks to do that.
Well, the good news is, at least whomever the quarterback is, they're going to have targets to throw to, because Mike Matthews and Braylon Staley are still on the roster, and those two guys were huge last year. Deshaun Bishop still there out of the backfield to help keep a balance there. Those guys are really going to be relied upon majorly. They did get Tristan Keys. He is a number 8 in the recruiting class. Should help the next 2 years. He should be Keys, Matthews, and Staley should give Faison Brandon or McIntyre plenty of targets to choose from. if the offensive line can do what it's supposed to do. Now, from what I've understood, Tennessee's offensive line is supposed to be and is one of the top-rated lines in the country right now.
Yeah.
By sheer size and by sheer experience, they should be competitive this year. I don't think they're going to be as competitive as enough to be a Texas or Ohio State. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Of course.
But
you got a new defensive coordinator in this year. You got a
that's
new
gonna
strength
help.
coach, by the way, who's come from Indiana.
Mhm.
So obviously they're going to be. He's revamped the system. So obviously,
the thing that worries me is the secondary, because you lost Ricky Gibson III, cornerback. He transferred out to Texas A&M. You lost one of your edge rushers, Caleb Henney. He went to South Carolina.
Yeah.
You lost Boo Carter, a safety, who went to Colorado. You did get some to come in with Knowles from Penn State. They got Ty Redmond still there. Aaron Carter's still there. Amari Campbell, he came, from Auburn cornerback, Lee. Quay Moss came from Kansas State, safety. So again, they've got what they need to compete. Chaz Coleman was relieved, medically dismissed.
yeah,
That's going to hurt off the edge.
Yeah.
We could really have used him. But getting Aaron Carter back, still having Ty Redmond there, still having, that core defense on the front is still there.
well, they do some switching around in the defensive line. One can go to another position and play. But you look at Tennessee's schedule this year. Kentucky's got a new head coach. They've not been doing very well the past couple of years. Kentucky's have not beaten Tennessee with any regularity. Vanderbilt, first time without Diego Pavia, they're not going to be a 10-win team. If they get 6 or 7 wins, that's considered to be a credible fact. Auburn's got a new man in who everybody's familiar with, Alec Golesh. He's quite familiar with the Tennessee team, so he could give some trouble. And then you, of course, out LSU, and you know who that is. That's time to get out the mustard bottles. And
here's the thing about this with computers, percentages, predictions, all these things coming into one. Tennessee is predicted. Now this is based on computer rankings. This is based on probability. This is based on all the things they do, kind of like the BCS used to do.
Yeah.
Tennessee is picked to finish 6th in the SEC. That's behind Alabama, Texas A&M, LSU, Texas, and Georgia.
Well, Tennessee has to go play Texas A&M at College Station.
Right.
They got to play. They play host to Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
They play host to LSU. They go visit Vanderbilt. And they can play Kentucky. They got South Carolina at Columbia. And I would say right now for Shane Beamer, from what I heard, is he has to win at least 6 games or he will be gone.
The 2 major schools in South Carolina, Clemson and South Carolina, it's do or die year for them, I believe. Dabo Swinney has just about overextended his welcome there. Yeah. And so has Shane Beamer. I wouldn't be surprised if Dabo had an off year. They still kept him, but it's very likely they'll make a change at Clemson if he doesn't make a run to the playoff.
Yeah.
And Shane Beamer, if he don't compete for the SEC this year, he's in some dire trouble. I'm sorry to say, but he is.
Alabama, Kellen DeBoer, he's on his seat is a little warm, even though he has improved.
It's warm.
But even though he has improved, but of course he's got to bring his team to Knoxville, and they hadn't had much luck in Knoxville recently. No. So, and of course we don't play Florida, we don't play Georgia. Florida's got a new man there, and obviously after getting sliced and diced by Tennessee last year.
Well, I think Summerall will do well at Florida. I really do. He did well at Tulane, but that was Tulane.
Yeah.
He's at Florida. He's set. He has a standard set there. There's been some guys dismissed from the team, because they've not met that standard.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. I know it's hard, but he's trying to make Florida return to the glory that they were in when Spurrier and all those years that he was there,
and Urban
Meyer there. He's trying to get them back to that, and I think that he will. Unfortunately, I hate to say that, but I hope it's not in the next 2 or 3 years.
Urban Meyer. There's a story I was reading, watching a documentary on him in his early days in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
He went and played LSU, and he got whipped. His team got whipped. LSU was all over. Well, they're flying back to Gainesville, and the mood was not really in. The coaches are sort of there. Then he hears some laughter in the back of the plane. It was a couple of players, Florida players, who were laughing about the game. Plane lands at Gainesville. Urban Meyer tells the assistant coaches, get off the plane. The players stay on the plane. And he lit into them. I said, fellas, this is not funny. I will never, ever want to be part of a team that just got beat like a rug, as bad as a rug. Then he calls the 2 players who were laughing up front and told them to come up here. You are off the team as of now.
Yeah.
Pack your bags, you're gone. So now, eventually, those guys went in there and asked to be put on the team. And Urban Meyer was not notorious for not giving second chances.
Right.
But he said, are you really going to work at being serious about this? And they said, yes, coach, we are. He lets them back on the team. You know what the first thing they did? So when he got out to practice, they were handed orange jerseys, Tennessee orange jerseys. That was the bottom of the barrel. That was, you had Florida orange, you had Florida white, you had Florida blue, that sort of thing,
right.
Green, that sort of. Orange was the dead last. You were nobody. And they were the only 2 players that had that. They said they worked their way up to second team.
Yeah.
They said that's Urban Meyer's message. Next players that do that, they're gone. And then, that was that. He made his point across. This is a funnier story. You know who Kurt Watson is, the Crossville Comet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he played in the 60s and the 70s.
Heard that name, yeah.
Okay, well, every time he scored a touchdown, his mother would give him $5. Well, he had a backup named Steve Wool, and he was in there playing against Vanderbilt. And Tennessee was beating Vanderbilt pretty easy. They hand the ball off to Wool, and he goes 81 yards, and he just tackled him inside the 5. Longest non-scoring play in Tennessee history. Okay, Coach Dickey said, go on in there for Steve Wool. And he said, no, Coach, let him stay in there. But he realizes that Wool is probably winded after that 81-yard run. So he gets in there and he scores a touchdown. After the game, his mother comes to him. He says, here's $5 for you, and here's $5 for Steve Wool. Because he set up that touchdown for you.
Well, sure.
And that sort of thing.
It's only fair.
But, that's how it is. Coaches have to basically say,
you have to set a standard.
You have to set the standard. And Urban Meyer did not like losing to LSU.
No.
And then you said, and he didn't lose too many games when he was when he's coaching at Florida and that sort of thing. But you look at Tennessee this year; they're going to be there. I know they're not going to finish 6th. They're going to finish up higher, 3rd maybe. And it's
going to depend on the quarterback play.
Mm-hmm.
And see, not only did we bring in, Knowles as a defensive coordinator, he brought in his co-defensive coordinator Anthony Poindexter, defensive line coach Andrew Jackson, and that's not the president. And Tennessee hired ACC veteran Derek Jones to be the cornerbacks coach, and kept the entire offensive staff in place.
That tells you that he was...
So the defensive staff had an overhaul.
Yeah.
Still kept some key players, like we mentioned, Aaron Carter, those guys are going to be huge coming into this season.
Mm-hmm.
Can those defensive players adjust to the schemes and get it back to its 2024 form? That's what we want.
That's what we need.
And I think that's what we will get if the team can play up to its caliber. But one thing I would like to see out of Tennessee, and aside from the defense playing like it used to, Coach Heupel has also got conservative too. Part of that is because the quarterback issue. We had 1 year with Joey Aguilar. You didn't have a cerebral quarterback like Hendon Hooker back there, and you didn't have somebody with a rocket arm like Joe Milton. And I get it, but we've got to get back to that fast-paced offense to where we run everybody out of gas toward the end of the ball game. Get back to that. Yeah, if you don't, it's going to be difficult for Tennessee. He's got to get that flash back. He's got to get that that point-a-minute type offense back. Get things back to where they were, because you remember he was, when Heupel first came in, teams were struggling to stop Tennessee.
Yeah.
And Tennessee didn't have the best offense in the country. But they were still hard to stop because they were so fast. They kept going, just boom, 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 boom. And you didn't have a chance to adjust anything. And that's what we've got to get back to. If we want to be successful, he's got to get back to that. And I said that last year and the year before. He's got to get back to that fast-paced offense, and the defense has got to stop somebody.
Yeah, well, you look at 2022 Alabama game. You had 15 seconds on the clock, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're thinking, okay, well, they're just going to down this ball. Let's go to overtime. Okay, so what do they do? Hooker throws a pass to Brew McCoy, hits him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for about 20 yards. Then he hits another wide receiver to get in there with 2 seconds on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Johnny Majors certainly would not have done it. Philip Fulmer certainly would have done it. Jeremy Pruitt certainly would not have done it. I thought Jeremy Pruitt's big mistake was keeping Garantano on his quarterback far too long.
Yeah.
Then he should have after that stupid stunt against Alabama when he went rogue. And only his teammates bailed him out of a bad situation by that.
Yeah.
And but when he went down there and he, of course, beat Alabama, and everybody went gaga in Knoxville, that sort of thing. But you have to look at it this way: Tennessee's going to have to be better on offense, and they're going to have to be better on defense than they ever been, because basically these teams are going to be loaded for me. You don't play Georgia, you don't play Florida. So that's the thing. However, you play Auburn, you play Texas A&M, you play Texas, you play LSU, and that's just as tough a schedule as you're going to find. So don't be surprised you lose a couple of those games right there.
The sleeper team in the SEC this year, Georgia's going to be good, Texas is going to be good, Texas A&M is going to be good, mm-hmm. Alabama has got something to prove this year. LSU, Lane Kiffin has hit the transfer portal and has loaded the LSU Tigers this year. He wants to make a statement on his first year. He wants to make a run in his first year. Mm-hmm. Bringing in all those big-name recruits out of the transfer portal, will they be able to coexist with their egos on a team to maintain success? That's the big question, because when you bring in those high-profile recruits, you bring in 8 out of the transfer portal. Can they share that stage with one another? Again, it can be great for LSU. It can be detrimental for LSU. I think Lane Kiffin, being the coach that he is, as bad as I hate to say it, with gritted teeth, LSU will contend this year. And I hate saying that. But
I think is that Lane Kiffin, be honest with you, he's going to go to Knoxville. He knows the flack he is going to get. The mustard sales will go up in Knoxville, no doubt about it.
Oh yeah.
And of course, hopefully they won't have that what they did a few years back. But that sort of thing. You look at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt expectations. Now look at the Commodore fans. They hadn't had a lot to win about. Then of course they beat number 1 ranked Alabama. They give Texas a fight. If they had covered that onside kick, I think they probably would have beaten Texas. Without Diego Pavia, I don't think Vanderbilt's going to have it all in the tank. You look at Kentucky. Kentucky not at all be comparable. I talked to some Kentucky fans I know.
Kentucky's picked based on the rankings to be last in the SEC this year. To be honest with you right now is that it's probably right, because I've talked to some friends who are Kentucky fans, and they said, oh, we can't wait for basketball season to start. Yeah. They're going back to the same old deal. You look at Auburn, Arkansas. Arkansas is not going to be very good. Arkansas is they're going to have to gut that program to rebuild it, and I don't think they're going to beat Tennessee in Fayetteville. I think Tennessee's got too much on them. We didn't think it was going to beat Tennessee last year.
Well, that Tennessee
2 years ago.
Well, yeah, that's because what it was is that I think is that Nico. I don't think he was paying attention to what he was doing. He didn't look look very well that way. But you also have to look at it this way. You have to, Arkansas is going to be. Ole Miss is going to be a pretty prominent team this year. Mm-hmm. Mississippi State's not going to be very good. They've really not been very good, as a matter of fact, and that sort of thing. South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, all those other schools. That's right. Okay, everybody, we're going to go to a break, and then we're going to talk about Bradley's favorite pastime, which is tiddlywinks, and
getting it warmed up.
And I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to have to be Albert again this year, and of course, as you're watching the Mike and Bradley Sports Scene on Wetzel Town Cooperative Channel 18 and WATA 1110, Pikeville, Tennessee.
At Jason Lewis Dunlap Supercenter, we're committed to be better. Better prices, better vehicles, a better experience. Your Jason Lewis Dunlap Supercenter understands that you rely on us to provide you with the highest quality of used vehicles. With over 350 pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. So what are you waiting for? Let us show you a better experience with the Jason Lewis Automotive family. Come visit us at Rankin Avenue here in Dunlap or on the web at dunlapsupercenter.com.
Come and see the beautiful Sequatchie Valley. And while you're here, visit the Dunlap Mercantile. We have a full line of hats from Resistol, Stetson, Charlie One Horse, American Hat Makers, GG Pip, Greeley hats from the TV show Yellowstone, and a full line of vintage hats. Make sure to check out our hat bar where we can clean, shape, and customize a hat just for you, right here at the Dunlap Mercantile.
You need a bank that you can depend on. Here at Citizens Tri-County Bank, we have the most dependable staff that you will ever meet. Call in, you will not get an automated attendant, you'll get a person. But on the other side, we have all the technology that anyone would need, from apps to online banking to bill pay. So please come and grow with us as we're about to celebrate our 50th year. We are the only community bank you will ever need.
Okay, we're back for the final segment, which is Bradley's favorite sport, tiddlywinks, and his favorite team. Here we go again.
What is that?
Briar Horse. That ball will go flying out the door.
Let's go. Come on, Mike. Show me you can do it. Woo, does that feel good? Listen to that.
Yeah, my big mouth.
Only thing sounds better than that's Rocky Top. You know me, I tell you what the truth.
Well, this is not, we don't have any, well, we're not into football yet, so you have to hold off on that. But anyway, Bradley said Bradley's favorite sport, tiddlywinks, and his favorite team is the Los Angeles Dodgers. And,
as you can see, I'm excited about the game of baseball. Mm-hmm. Now, I love me some football. But there's something about the rich history of being America's greatest pastime and the baseball. And it's mid-season. Just finished the All-Star game yet last night. American League won 4-0.
Mm-hmm.
Monday night was a home run derby. Did you watch any of that?
No.
I'll tell you what. They're playing at Citizens Bank Field in Philadelphia. That's where the All-Star game was played.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they had Philadelphia was in. They had Bryce Harper and they had Kyle Schwarber in the home run derby, and the Philadelphia fans were being Philadelphia, and they were booing everybody that was against Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper. Big deal. Kyle Schwarber makes it to the finals. Jordan Walker makes it to the finals. Next thing you know, Kyle Schwarber, he hits 11 home runs. And then everybody is like, okay, this is over with. The home team guy, Kyle Schwarber, is going to bring home the trophy. They even had Bobby Abreu and Ryan Howard, 2 former Philly players, to bring out the trophy.
I didn't bring my waders.
And the little chain they were going to wear, because they just knew that Kyle Schwarber was going to be the home run king. Jordan Walker steps in.
I didn't know you could pilot that high, Bradley.
Jordan Walker steps in from the St. Louis Cardinals, and he hits a few home runs, and he gets down to the last ball. He hits 6 straight home runs and ends with 12 home runs and wins the home run derby. And I laughed so hard.
Oh, Lord.
Because I'm all for. Now, y'all, everybody knows my hatred of the New York Mets. Okay, well, everybody knows that, and the Yankees. But right there, somewhere about 3 notches down from the Mets, is Philadelphia. And the only reason they're not my least favorite is because Dale Murphy played for them. That's it. But they were booing Jordan Walker, and I said, man, I hope that he comes in and wins this game. And I tell you, the cinematic writers of the movies couldn't have wrote it any better. I'm just glad he won. I'm glad the American League won, because that's who I had picked. But the thing about it is, let's get to the meat of the matter.
Yeah.
The Braves are not as good as they was in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
All right? I'm going to be a realist here. Injuries has taken its toll. Smith-Shawver is on a 60-day IL. Ha-Sung Kim, 10-day IL. Of course, I don't think he matters anyway because he's not producing anything. Ronald Acuna with a hamstring, 10-day injured list. Yadromitsky's 10-day IL. Suarez, as a relief pitcher, one of our closers that we're set up, he's out for another 15 days. Martin Perez, starting pitcher, kind of one of those guys that stepped up when Swellenbach and Shawver and Strider struggled. He's out for 15 days. Swellenbach is still on a 60-day IL. Spencer Strider on a 60-day IL. And Sean Murphy, bless his heart, he can't catch a break. One of our catchers, he's on a 60-day IL. He's 1 month into that. June 4th, he was put on it. July 4th, he should be getting out of that in the next few weeks. But still, injuries have plagued the Braves, but they still have a 2-game lead over the Philadelphia Phillies going into the second half of the season. The Dodgers have the best record in baseball. They're 61-36. Braves don't have the best record in baseball, but they're still 55-40, still lead the National League East. And the thing about that is, they just had the draft. You know, the Braves got some pretty good key players. The big thing that most people are talking about Major League Baseball right now is the trade deadline. July 22nd is the trade deadline. There are some hot topics. Every single team that's contending this year. That's the Braves, the Dodgers, the Tampa Bay Rays, the Milwaukee Brewers, New York Yankees, Chicago Cubs, Seattle Mariners, Philadelphia Phillies, and the San Diego Padres. All 9 of those teams that are contending this year are wanting Tarik Skubal from the Detroit Tigers, starting pitcher. That is the one everybody's wanting. Can the Braves get him? I don't know. They'll have to give up so much to get him. Byron Buxton, Minnesota Twins center fielder. He's on the list. Everybody wants him. The Braves could use him. Jeremy Pena, C.J. Abrams, Pena from the Houston Astros, Abrams from the Washington Nationals, shortstop. Those are all three things that the Atlanta Braves need. Shortstop, outfielder, and a pitcher. I don't think they'll get Skubal.
What the Braves need is not to do the chop. That's what the Braves need to do.
You don't know what you're talking about.
It's a Florida State thing. It's not an Atlanta Braves thing.
Don't bring Florida State up. You
know very well that this came from Florida State.
There's so many other things about baseball right now that's more important than where the chop come from.
What? Have you gotten the Braves channel yet? The subscription channel?
No, I don't have to have it. There are other ways to watch the Braves.
You know, Albert is a Dodgers fan.
Mm-hmm.
A Dodgers fan. Why aren't you being a Dodgers fan for Albert this year?
I can't. I was for the Dodgers last year for Albert. This year, it's all about the Braves. The Braves have got to swing big in this trade for whomever they get. They've got to swing big. Now, they say Sandy Alcantara, he's the starting pitcher for the Miami Marlins. He was an ace. He's past his prime, so people think.
Uh-huh.
Also along that list is Sonny Gray from the Boston Red Sox. Boston won 9 games straight going into the All-Star break.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're back. They're competing. They're only 10 games out with the whole half of the season left. They've got momentum going. They may not deal Sonny Gray. Both of those two guys, Alcantara and Gray, are supposedly past their prime.
Uh-huh.
Let me remind you, Chris Sale was past his prime too before he came to the Braves. And he won a Cy Young Award. Mm-hmm. So, all I'm saying is, AA, general manager, Atlanta Braves, better pull off some major trades because I want to win right now. Don't give up your farm system, but make some trades. Get what you need to get into the postseason and stay healthy. The Dodgers are poised to win. They're the favorites to win again. The Yankees are odd-wise are second. Milwaukee, Philadelphia, then Atlanta. Those 5 teams, based on odds, have the best odds of winning World Series. If the Braves get a good starting pitcher, get everyone back healthy, and get a shortstop or an outfielder to fill that gap.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball professionals are saying that the Braves have the best chance of anybody to upend the Dodgers. I'm just saying what the professionals say.
And you're hoping.
I'm hoping.
Yeah,
I'm hoping. The Dodgers are the team to beat. They've got it going on. They are the Yankees of the West. But the Braves have the best shot if they can make a couple trades and get those gaps filled in, and all those players, pitchers come back healthy. Strider, Schwindenbach, Smith-Shawver, those guys come back. Suarez come back from the bullpen. If we can get those guys healthy for the second half of the season and we make those 2 trades that we need to fill those gaps, the Braves can compete. Baseball's halfway through the season.
Uh-huh.
But everybody is looking at the Braves, the Dodgers, and the surprise of the year, the Chicago White Sox.
Oh, they're not a bad team. No, they're not a bad team at all. They're talking about expansion in the MLB, and there's a number of cities. I think Nashville is one of them. Though I think is that
Nashville has lost out, and here's the thing: Charlotte, Portland.
Yeah.
The reason those 2 cities are your front runners right now is because if they add 2 teams, they have to have a major realignment.
Yeah.
Now, realignment means some of the things that they have pitched so far puts the Braves, a Charlotte expansion team, the Tampa Bay Rays, which is an American League team, and who is that 4th team? Supposed to be 4 teams: Braves, Marlins. Braves, Marlins, Rays, and the Charlotte team. Those 4 teams. They go from American League will go from 3 divisions to 4 divisions. Mm-hmm. National League will go from 3 divisions to 4 divisions. And there's 4 teams in each division. Yeah. Top 2 teams go into a playoff. That's the plan, from what I understand. It's going to be very hard for me, even though I despise the New York Mets, to not have them as a division rival. But the Braves at one time were in the National League West. Not that long ago.
No, not that long.
Playing against San Francisco, playing against Arizona, playing against, not Arizona, but Los Angeles Dodgers. So it's not crazy that they realign.
Yeah.
But the thought of the Atlanta Braves being in the American League is a little far-fetched to me. But still, the competition is still going to be there. Realigning everything. Go look at some of the proposals that people have put up, and it's crazy. It's very wild to see some of the things that they are putting up out there. I think Charlotte and Portland will probably be your 2 expansion teams if they approve this and get this pushed through. I wish it would have been Nashville, but Charlotte is winning right now, majorly, as far as the pitch to get the team.
Well, I think there was one city I think probably should have gotten a major league team. Didn't, even though they built a stadium to accommodate, and that was Buffalo. Mm-hmm. Buffalo wanted years ago, about 25, 30 years ago, wanted a team up there because you really, outside of the New York metropolitan area, you didn't have anything in Boston. And what it is, they built a stadium that fit major league specs. It was a beautiful stadium. They still use it. Minor league team up there uses it, but they never did. And I think Buffalo would have been a good place because really that allows that crowd in Upper New York and around Pennsylvania and area to go.
Well, the only bad thing about that is New York is overshadowed by the Western teams, the Yankees and the Mets.
Yeah.
And across the border into Canada, you had Montreal and Toronto that's right there close to Buffalo. Plus you got Pittsburgh that's right there south of Buffalo. So you're going to get into that market. And that's one of the reasons why I think Buffalo didn't get an expansion team. Mm-hmm. Montreal moved to Washington.
Yeah.
So they became the Nationals. That took away that market. Toronto's still there. Pittsburgh's still there. And, like I said, New York, the whole state, is overshadowed by Yankees and Mets. That's the problem with Buffalo. I think they could sustain a team. They have the Bills up there. They have the Sabres up there. They already have professional teams. I think they could have a decent baseball team and sustain one. But if they're going to come, another team is going to be in that market. The way they're lined up, Charlotte, Portland, Nashville, Montreal. Those four cities were front runners to get a team. Yep. Geographically speaking, and which is what the Major League Baseball is saying, is it makes more sense based on a realignment if we have one in Charlotte and have one in Portland. Well, I don't know that Portland will be able to. I don't see baseball being a big deal in Portland.
Yeah, I don't think they have that much of a base there. Up to about the 1950s, there was no West Coast teams. There was no West Coast team. There were no Southern teams, as a matter of fact, either.
No.
And what happens was that the Dodgers moved from Brooklyn to Los Angeles, and the Giants moved from New York to San Francisco. But it's how you look at it. I mean, again, you had airplane travel, made it easier. The interstate system went through, and that sort of thing. That made it a lot easier.
Well, same with any every major sport. I mean, they all started in the New England area, and then they branched out to the Midwest before they went south.
Yeah.
And once the Midwest and the New England area and the Midwest had teams, other places started getting into the, hey, we would like to have that down here. Hence the expansion to the south, hence expansion out west, and it just exploded. You still have that blank area when you look at professional sports in the top four ones, baseball, football, basketball, and even hockey. There's a blank area They're in the Great Plains, Nebraska, Dakotas, Idaho, Montana. All those guys don't really have much to offer. And then you have a cluster in the New England area, in the Midwest. You have the Braves in the South. Florida's covered, and you have Texas and Los Angeles that all is covered in that California area and even in the Arizona, Las Vegas area.
That's the story about Charlie Finley in the 1970s. Wanted to put an NFL team in Birmingham. Charlie Finley owned the Oakland A's. He was sort of a wild card in Major League Baseball, and he asked Barry Bryant if he want to coach it, and he says. And Barrett Bryant says, sometimes I know Charlie's a good friend of mine, but sometimes his eyes are bigger than his stomach. He said there's no way the NFL team is going to let him own a NFL team, and he was right. He was right there. He says, but his eyes are bigger than his stomach, which is really one of the unique things there. But yeah, it's going to happen. The NFL probably going to expand too eventually, I guess, a little bit, and that sort of thing. Okay, well, anyway, we're going to do it here as it's getting a little hot in here. All this hot air is putting out. So we're going to bid you farewell. Bradley, you have some final words to say. Please try to keep it short this time.
I have final words. I always say go Blues. 37 days to kick off the Bledsoe County High School Warriors, getting out there and showing them how it's done. I can't wait to see that. Excited. Can't wait. See the Big Orange come in around the Labor Day weekend, see what they're going to do. So I say go Blue, as I always do. Got to support those Warriors. Go Braves. Let's hear it one more time. Are you listening?
There we go again. No!
Ooh, listen to that. No. Listen to that. Man.
Yeah. There ain't no hope for him.
That All-Star break.
This will do it for us here, and let's hope that
go Blues, go Braves,
so
Big
parents,
Orange.
Wake up your children. This is about to be an extravaganza here today. So we're going to say goodbye. We'll see you in the next episode of the Mike and Brad Sports Scene here on Bledsoe Telephone Growth through Channel 18 and WAT AM 10. Good day, everybody.
Brought to you by Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative in the Sequatchie Valley.